there, everybody, and welcome to the Very Vera Show. I'm Vera Stewart, and I'm so happy tonight to have two very special guests. Harriet Brown is a student at Davidson. Harriet, welcome to the Very Vera Show.
Thanks for having me.
I know, I'm so happy that you could be here. And tell me, what grade are you in?
I'm in 7th grade.
7th grade, and how long have you been a student at Davidson?
I've been a student for 2 years. I was in 6th grade at Davidson and 7th grade.
Very good. And then I have Pinckney Kilpatrick, and Pinckney, incidentally, is my oldest grandchild. And Pinckney, how about you? How long have you been at Davidson?
This is my 2nd year at Davidson.
Oh, and you know what? I'll have to say, I'll never forget the day you were born, because I was crying because my youngest son, Daniel, had left to go to Georgia. I was laying on the bed crying when your dad called and said, "We're on the way to the hospital." So I always remember her birthday and that day very, very favorably. But Pinckney and Harriet and I are going to do cake pops tonight, so we're going to have a lot of fun. And you know, cake pops, do you love them?
I love them.
Cake pops.
Oh my goodness. And they're such a great little treat. Like if you need a favor for a party, like when you're having girls over to spend the night, that's just kind of a fun thing to do as like an activity. So I hope that you'll pay very close attention tonight because we're getting ready to get started. So I'm going to kind of squeeze out of here because Harriet and Pinckney are going to start the crumbing process. So what kind of cake have we got? Let's get started.
Yellow cake.
All right, so let's get started on this process. And you know, when we do this, a lot of times, and you know, lately on the last couple of shows, I've used a cake mix for one reason or another. But on something like this, the actual cake is not the star of the show. You know, you can use a lot of different flavors of cake. What's your favorite flavor?
I like chocolate cake.
Ooh, I like chocolate cake too. What about you, Pinckney?
I like peanut butter cake.
You used to love the peanut butter pound cake from VeryVera, didn't you?
I love
Well,
it.
the good news is tonight we are going to actually dip one of these cake balls into the peanut butter chocolate. All right, so we want to move along kind of quickly on this because we've got to get this whole cake crumbed. But literally what you're doing is just getting it all in pieces. And then once you've got some big hunks in there, then you can come behind and begin this other process. So just get some big hunks going. Oh, this is so moist. So this is when I kind of like to pick, and maybe one little bite might go in my mouth. But, and then the way we hold it together is we're going to do icing to go as kind of the glue that holds it together. So once we get this completely crumbed, and it really just needs to look like cornmeal, they're going to start adding icing to this so that it holds together really well. You can make the cake the day before. It doesn't have to be made right before you do it. But, you know, a yellow cake really makes what you do to the outside a lot better. Okay, so let's get in there with our hands and get that all crumbed up, and then we'll start adding the icing to it. And again, we talked earlier about when I was little, I used to take really moist bread and make it into a ball and just kind of pop it in my mouth. So that's what we're trying to accomplish here. And Harriet, that's looking perfect. It's just really nice and crummy. So I think you could probably go ahead and start adding some icing to that.
Okay.
And Pinckney, you're just about there yourself. So they're going to start the process of just your hands are the best way to do it. Just get some icing in there and start working it through with your hands. And while they're finishing that, I'm going to move on down to this counter and get started on some of the dough that we went ahead and did earlier. What they're going to end up with down there is something that looks very much like this. It's just a moist combination of the icing and the cake that was crumbed up, and you're going to just make little balls out of it. And the best thing to do is either get these done that morning and that afternoon come back and dip them, or you can make these the day before. Oh, that's the really messy part, isn't it, girls?
Yes.
It is. My hands are so sticky.
Well,
So
that's
messy.
fun. All right, so we've got some already done. We made some ahead. So come back with us after the break, Harriet and Pete are going to be up to their eyeballs or elbows in cake dough, and we're going to be ready to start dipping these in all the different flavors. Welcome back, and welcome to Harriet Brown and Pete Kilpatrick, who are my guests today. Girls, thank y'all for clearing your busy schedules. Are y'all just so busy?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
are.
Pete, what are you busy doing?
I am busy doing homework, and
Good answer.
I'm busy doing dance outside of school.
Okay, and what's your dance group?
Pulse Dance Center.
Okay, and Harriet, what are you busy doing?
I'm busy studying all the time.
Great answer. I hope your teachers are watching.
And I also like to study ballet.
Oh, okay, and where do you dance,
I
Harriet?
dance at the Augusta Ballet School.
Very good. Okay, well, we are busy dipping these cake pops, and Harriet has a plain white chocolate, and we did earlier some of the cake balls, and we did a strawberry flavor, and the way that we got that was the yellow cake mix, and we used a strawberry ready-made frosting as the glue that held that together. Pete's got the same ones, but she's got kind of a, is it like Neapolitan sprinkles?
Yes, ma'am.
In that one, so it's almost would be really pretty for like a baby shower or something like that. And they're just going in one by one and dipping these into the chocolate. I'm going to use the chocolate cake ball that I just threw into your icing, Pinckney, by mistake. And I love, I love peanut butter, and this is where you said you love the peanut butter pound cake. But this is the peanut butter flavored chocolate, and you just want to make sure that you get a good coat all the way around, even if it means kind of tilting the bowl. And these are just the lollipop sticks that you can buy at any craft store. And we actually have here, in front of Harriet, is the Wilton cake pop kit that comes with the sticks and the little holder that you see there. If you're in a hurry, those can go in the refrigerator for a few minutes after you've dipped them. But that runs, somewhere in the neighborhood of $17 to $20. A lot of times you can get a coupon to get that for less. And you know what? That's fine, because when that happens, we can put it a little bit more icing and put it back in the refrigerator. But this is just a box that I had. You could use a shoe box, but I took an ice pick and made the holes. So girls, we're saving money over here. That way we have more ingredient money to go buy more so we can make more cake pops. So the process, you want to take your time. You want to make sure that these cake balls are nice and chilled. And of course, we're in the studio, the lights are kind of bright, and maybe sometimes that makes that happen. But these can set up really well and be a great favor for a party, or even after a dinner party when people are ready to leave, even the adults. That's a really fun thing to give as a, going away kind of favor type of thing. So when we come back from the break, Pinckney and Harriet have convinced me that I need to take a little break and sit down, and they're going to finish the cake pop process without me. And the way I'm kind of doing right now, that might be a good thing. So girls, y'all are going to have fun with sprinkles and piping the icing and everything. So come back with us in just a few minutes, and they're going to let me sit back and eat bonbons. In fact, I might eat that one that just fell on the box. So come back with us in just a few minutes. God, y'all are doing great on this. Ladies, do you leave it to your husband or your date to determine what to do in terms of a tip after a meal in a restaurant? Well, pay attention, because you may take a girlfriend one night. You want to be able to do the right thing. 15 to 20% is generally customary if you've had a really great service at a restaurant. If they've gone beyond the call of duty, then you might want to do an additional 5%. If the restaurant is really busy and you want to stay and chat for a few minutes, just add an additional tip at the end. It probably will make that waiter or waitress feel a lot better that the table was not turned. If you're using a gift certificate, you want to be sure to notice the total amount of the bill. That way you can leave the proper tip even though you're using a gift certificate. If the restaurant is really busy, don't forget to notice that and notice how well your waiter or waitress helps you during the course of the meal. And then finally, don't forget the valet service. A $2 tip is really great if they've parked your car. So just remember, do the right thing when it comes to leaving a gratuity.
Welcome back to the VeryVera show.
We're taking over. Okay, so we are going to start decorating these cake pops.
Here, what are you doing?
I am going to put sprinkles on them. What are you doing?
I'm going to pipe the cake pops, like add little designs on them.
How'd you get all that icing into that bag?
You have to not make a mess, you need to fold the top over and then put the icing in there. And then once you're done with that, you should take this and roll it down. And then you're done. And make sure to put down parchment paper or wax paper so you don't make a mess while doing this.
So, isn't this kind of fun that Granny V let us do this all by ourselves?
Yep, feels so grown up.
So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm making sure that the icing is still wet before I put the sprinkles on. Because if the icing's dry, the sprinkles won't stick to your cake pop.
Also, when you are icing, if you don't have a piping bag, you can also use like a Ziploc bag. Just cut off the ends of it and it will be a lot easier and you can save money doing it.
So what color icing do you like to use the best?
Right now I'm using green and I like it a lot because you can see it and it's very vibrant. What are you doing?
I'm just using basic colors like rainbow and silver because you can use that for any day really. But I also like to use the colors of a holiday. So
Yeah, you can do those with icing and sprinkles too.
These look really good.
Granny V is gonna be so proud of us.
These are great for holidays too, like birthdays and Christmas.
You can hand them out like at a sleepover or a birthday party or like a little get together.
We should hand these out at school.
Yep, like on the last day of school and stuff like that before winter break. Hey, do you enjoy cooking?
I really do. You know, it's one of my favorite hobbies to do when I have the time to do it.
Yeah, I remember at cooking camp we made so much stuff. It was so fun. Like bucket cake and peppermint bark and all these really good cakes and a lot of good sweet treats.
Before I went to cooking camp, I didn't even think cooking could be this fun. I enjoy it a
neither.
lot.
Also learned a lot of table etiquette that I definitely needed to learn, and I probably wouldn't know if I hadn't have gone to cooking camp.
You know, the other day I learned how to make scrambled eggs over the stove. And I was so proud of myself because really, I'm not the best chef.
Me neither.
Really, the only breakfast food I really knew how to make was cereal.
That's the only thing I knew how to make.
And
It's the only
toast.
thing I still know how to make. Are you still making, what kind of sprinkles are you using?
Rainbow.
They look really good.
They are.
You can use all types of patterns on the cake pops. Like you can use polka dots or you can make little swirls.
I like the swirls the best. I think those actually look really cool.
Yeah, they are. All you have to do is keep your icing in one place and just wrap it up. Granny V is going to be so proud of us. Can't wait for her to see the surprise.
Me either.
Girls, oh my goodness. I just had the nicest break. Y'all could join me every week. My job would be so simple. But of course, you know, the VeryVera show is not a job. You know how much I love it, right?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And you know, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you that when we got ready to do this show, I invited Pinckney and Harriet on a Sunday afternoon to come with me out to NBC 26. We took a tour, and they were so impressed with everything. And then we went out to lunch immediately following that, and this is no joke. That day, every single person that walked into where we were having lunch that day, what did they say?
They all said, I watched your show last night.
Didn't they?
They did.
I mean, it got comical. Every single person that walked in that building came over to the table and said, oh my goodness, I saw the show. So we're so happy that you guys are out there watching the show, and we've just had a wonderful time. But I'm so impressed with what you did. Tell me about it.
Well, we designed those cake pops, like we put sprinkles and icing on them. And with these, the ones that fell off their
Put
sticks.
icing in the middle of them so they didn't.
That is crazy great. So you covered up the hole with icing. So these could be like little bonbons
Yep.
for when you're relaxing on just a sultry afternoon. How beautiful. Okay, well now I'm going to show you about packaging, because back as young as your age, I used to actually make money during the holidays wrapping gifts for my neighbors. You said you didn't like to wrap. Do you like to wrap?
I
A little
like
bit.
it, I guess.
Well, I love wrapping, and I love beautiful packaging. So I want to show you how to make what you've already made is beautiful into something very special as a favor. So we have just these little cellophane bags that you can pick up at the craft store. You're going to put the pop in there. Then we went ahead and pre-cut some of this ribbon, and we're going to use a lot of different colors. So basically what you want to do, if you have the ribbon already cut into lengths, then you're going to use just enough to tie around it and snip that off. All right, so now I'm going to cut the other end, and then I'm going to take the rest of the ribbon, and you just make loops one by one by one. And some of the bows can be bigger than others, so you have a little bit of variety. But then you're just going to put the bow on there. And this is something maybe y'all could do together. I've been doing this for so many years, I can kind of one-hand it. But now you've got it all wrapped up. So I'm going to let y'all get started. I'm picking the colors and do that. And I'm going to move over here and get started on what is going to be the centerpiece for the party. And you know, even when I'm just having family over Pinckney, you know, I always like to go outside, and if camellias are blooming, I'll have a camellia in the bathroom, or just, I love to have fresh flowers around. But it could be really fun to do something like this as the centerpiece on the table instead of having fresh flowers. So I've got just a glass base, and I've got styrofoam down in it. And I'm just going to take all the different colors that y'all are putting together, so we've got even distribution. And you're basically going to kind of put it together just like you would a flower arrangement. We're going to have, you know, just a complete circle here going around of all the different colors, and it'll just fill this up and really look different and unusual. Now, this is where some of your creativity can come in. You can either run outside in the yard and snip, you know, some fresh greenery out of the yard, but I love to keep a little bit of artificial something in the house in case there's not something fresh outside that you like. And this really doesn't have any significance as leaves or anything. It's just pretty green, but it's plastic, and you can use it over and over. And when you mix plastic in with good fresh flowers, you really can't tell the difference. But I'm just going to kind of put this in between the glass and the styrofoam, and now it's going to start looking like those are fresh flowers coming out instead of just cake pops.
Oh, look, Granny V, I just finished one.
Isn't that pretty? Love that. Okay, let's wrap some of the ones that y'all decorated earlier. So we have some that are decorated in here as well. All right, y'all were talking about camp. I overheard you while I was taking my little siesta over there. But I certainly want to remind everybody that camp will be held all summer long. So if you've got an 8 to 14-year-old that has enjoyed the show tonight, or a grandchild that you would love to have to come visit, and you don't know what you're going to do with them while they're in Augusta, then we certainly hope that you'll involve them in cooking camp. You know, I'm sure the years that y'all were both there, we had maybe 14 or 15 different schools represented. And you made so many new friends.
I know, we really did.
I met a ton of people.
And girls and boys. In fact, some of the guys were some of the best cooks, weren't they? So we want to encourage you to do that. And then the recipes for our shows are always available on NBC26.tv. And, you know, I love the comments. I love for you to write back to me and tell me what you like and what you wish that I would do. And as I go through my list of things that I want to do for future shows, I love to look at the comments. So this is starting to come together. As soon as y'all have a decorated one, I'll be almost there. But, you know, whether it's Easter coming up or someone's birthday, maybe instead of a bouquet of balloons, do something with your favors. Have one of these beside each place sitting. Gosh, y'all are doing great. So use your imagination. Get those young people involved with you in your kitchen and just look at how much fun you can have. So Harriet Brown and Pinckney Kilpatrick, I want to thank you for being my guest. Y'all have been great. You educated our audience, and I want everybody to come back next week and join us. But remember, no matter what you do it in good taste, and I can't wait to taste these cake pops. What about you?
I can't wait.
Okay, come back and join us again next Saturday.